Alright guys, and welcome to the 47th episode of Below the Bar.
In this episode, expect to find out why you should train on holiday, how not to entertain yourself on a flight.
And what we think of fat people who hire mobility scooters.
Let's get into it. Right then, and welcome back. So you know the setup now, because you watched last week's. But if you knew, basically, we're trialling a new audio-video setup.
Exactly.
And we just reviewed last week's footage. And fundamentally, it's better than the sound interface. We spent 400 quid on, so that's good.
It is a lot better than the equipment we went to vast expense to acquire, so a little bit jarring that. I mean, these mics are expensive as well, but they're also portable and versatile.
And it's funny because in the future we will now just be using an iPhone and these mics to record podcasts.
Which is mental, isn't it?
That's good. So we won't have any microphones, but we could just hold them.
We can just hold the mics. Yeah.
People actually wouldn't know.
Yeah.
That's good. You bought real working microphones.
What we could do is actually hold the real microphones, but clip these onto them.
You actually could. Or just hold a stick to take the piss.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we are on holiday currently, if you didn't already know, again, from last time. And we're rolling through the segments that we usually go through. So, again, helmet of the week, underrated, overrated, and reasons to be cheerful. So, do you want to go through helmet of the week?
Yeah, so well, just to add to that quickly, so this won't explicitly be about Lanzarote, but it will kind of loosely be holiday themed, but we'll go off on kind of more tangents this episode, I think.
Exactly. Tangent heavy episode.
Tangent heavy episode, but kind of still loosely under the umbrella theme of holidays.
Yeah.
People like holidays, don't they?
Yeah, apart from you.
The psyops.
Helmet of the week.
Helmet of the week first is all about mobility scooters. Do you want to tell the listeners about that?
Yeah, well, let's not beat around the bush. It's fat people who hire mobility scooters.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to knock people with genuine physical disabilities.
Get that in early.
Who need mobility scooters to get about, because that's what they're designed for.
Yeah.
What they're not designed for is fat people.
For you to eat yourself into one.
To eat yourself into one and then get fatter by remaining in it.
Yeah, it's wild. It's the biggest irony that we experienced, I think. I mean, it's kind of obvious where we're going to go with this, I think. But, you know, if you're fat, fundamentally, you need to move to get yourself not to be fat.
Yeah.
Right? What are you doing by depriving yourself of that luxury when you go from A to B with just sitting in a fucking motorised diddler and getting around? Even a bike would be better.
Well, this came about yesterday because we were cycling around, weren't we?
Yeah.
We went for a little kind of post-Scran bike ride on the evening. And the only other people we encountered on mobility scooters weren't kind of the elderly or the handicapped.
Yeah.
It was fat people.
I know. And it's just like they've...
And it's like, oh, I've come on holiday, I'll treat myself with a mobility scooter. Like, walking is such a burden on their existence that when they come on holiday, they can treat themselves.
Yeah, they have a couple days off walking.
Yeah.
What?
Like, no, it's not.
What are you
it's not
talking about?
You don't opt in to walk. That's just a fundamental human behaviour and
It's a human
characteristic.
requirement of the human organism is that they walk places.
It's just mental.
It's mad. And
you can get because obviously we're in kind of late stage capitalism now, where nothing makes sense anymore. You can get tandem mobility scooters, so fat couples now can ride around together.
And one of them can just rap in the back seat, and then they can swap.
Doing even less movements.
Yeah.
Because now
they don't even have to steer or navigate.
All loved and carved up.
Yeah. All full of carbs and jelly.
And cum.
And alcohol, probably. But yeah, so it is jarring when you see it because, again, those people have taken a mobility scooter off someone who probably actually needs one.
Right, yeah.
So it's a bit more of a deeper issue than that. And they're not getting themselves any closer to being in a state where they don't need them. So they've basically just accepted defeat.
So there's two layers to that kind of selfishness. There's obviously, they're seeing themselves off, but there's a broader kind of societal level where, like you said, they're depriving someone who actually needs one of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, societally, that's an issue. But just from their own characteristics and personal qualities, they should be what should be happening in a massively obese person's mind is they look in the mirror and go, probably should sort that out, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Not let's double down and start fucking
but this is the thing,
being a burden.
We've reached a point now where people can escape their own obesity.
Well, yeah.
Because, like you said, so like mobility scooters can facilitate it.
You can just get a Deliveroo.
You just get a delivery.
You only have to have an iPhone. You don't have to move again.
Yeah.
An iPhone and a bank balance, you're fucking squared. Which is wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not good.
Well, I should qualify that. An iPhone, a bank balance, and no self-respect.
Yeah.
And then you're fine. But yeah, so I mean, it's actually wild because we have just facilitated the ability to stay massively overweight, which is not just a drain on that individual's energy and resources, etc., but everyone else's because we all pay tax.
But the way society doesn't see it this way because it's so normalised. But the way I see it is, I don't think that's any better than an able-bodied person using a disabled toilet.
Well, yeah.
It's the same thing.
Exactly the same thing. They are able-bodied. Well, I mean, you could argue that, couldn't you?
They're not able-bodied out of choice.
No,
which doesn't make it any different. Like,
true.
You know, so people are disabled,
not out of choice.
Not out of choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
and again, it's an
completely-
obvious. It seems obvious to me that this is a bugbear, and I don't know why this is an accepted.
And to a lot of people,
behaviour.
A lot of people, this will be a controversial opinion,
Which is
the
mental.
idea that kind of all humans should be able to walk, you know, unless. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
you
mental,
shouldn't
innit?
eat yourself out of contention.
Ooh, you can't say that. Well,
I know.
right. So walking
Well,
isn't
what
a basic.
standards do we hold people to if that's not the case?
Well, exactly. Like
It's madness.
like
Like,
just have people fucking knocking about like Jabba the Hutt. Well, they won't even be knocking about because they can't move.
well, they will.
they'll
They'll be in mobility users, which is ironically what this is about. But yeah, it is crazy. I mean, and again, there is like it's a finite resource, isn't it? A mobility scooter, and again, there's probably people who need them. So let's leave it for people who need them. And if you're just fat and lazy, then just walk about a bit. You're on holiday.
Yeah. Which is funny, right? Because you don't see them using kind of like manual wheelchairs because that requires effort. Do you know what I mean? They want the motorised version.
Yeah,
because,
yeah, you just
because,
sit there
because they're fat and feckless.
The two Fs. You might be able to tell this is a late recording in the day.
Ironically, we said last week, which we've just filmed,
Yeah.
that come the second episode, we'll probably be at the end of our tether.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we have reached that saturation point.
It's mad, isn't it? Because these are the kind of episodes that get people cancelled.
Yeah.
I can't wait to clip this up. So
Because I will.
yeah.
It's going to go down about as well as our Kate Middleton clip, that, which has been banished to the annals of time, which I like to delete.
Yeah.
It didn't age well.
Didn't age very well, no. But this one will, because
Because we're on the right side of
yeah,
history.
objectively, fat people are a drain. No,
Both time, resources.
obviously, we're being a little bit satirical there, but the overarching kind of point is that as a society, we have become largely accepting of these things, and they are fundamentally they're not acceptable. I think obviously being overweight is different. If you're just kind of a little bit rotund, you know, that's not an issue really.
But it's when you
that's fine.
basically get to the point where you've eaten yourself into disability.
Well, yeah,
Like, we shouldn't be facilitating that.
not at all. And the thing is, if you're in that state at 30, 35, 40, how the fuck do you think you'd be like when you're 65?
Well, we said this earlier, didn't we? We said that kind of like, because you were basically sapping that like there needs to be a major kind of shift in societal attitudes towards kind of building and maintaining muscle mass from a younger age, because it becomes a lot harder when you get older. Imagine the disadvantage that those people are at, because not only do they not have any muscle mass, they have a lot.
Shitload of adipose tissue as well.
Yeah. So it's not that they're not even starting at zero; they're starting negative.
It is wildly worrying to me, and it's not my issue really. It's not my problem. I mean, I'm going to be fine, but you know, people who are like really fat and 30 are going to be fucked, mate.
Yeah, they are.
It's actually mental.
But it's annoying because we know that, and
they probably
they
know that.
might know that, but then they might not know that.
I know it's what, and obviously it's a multifaceted issue. I'll give obviously there's stress and all the rest of it. I mean that
and again, this is slightly satirical,
Yeah.
but kind of like the main overlying principle that like
oh, that's slightly satirical.
slightly satirical. The main overlying principle that I don't really see kind of an able-bodied person hiring a mobility scooter any different from an able-bodied person using a disabled toilet. I think that's valid.
I think that stands.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same argument.
I agree. I think there is a little bit of this is two white healthy males.
Oh yeah, here
Yeah.
we go.
God, but there is that though, isn't there? If we was to clip this up and it went mental on TikTok, that would be
Yeah.
100% something that
Yeah.
came back. Be like, oh yeah, but it's all right for you, cunts, fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
I
you've
know,
never
yeah.
been through any stress. Like, yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
But like, I mean, like objectively, the argument stands.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Anyway, we should probably stop cancelling ourselves.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, did a good 10 minutes on that.
yes. So
One for the bank.
It's either underrated
You've charmed me.
or it's overrated.
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
underrated, overrated.
Well, this is two-pronged, isn't it?
This is
But they're
two-pronged.
Both are kind of contained within
Yeah. So we've
the,
got
the aircraft in flight.
in flight, yeah, and the whole airport experience.
Yeah, well, we've sapped about the
Yeah,
airport
it's
experience
true.
before.
Yeah. So we're
That's
now on the plane,
Yeah.
and things haven't got any better.
They've got worse, actually.
Yeah.
So, unrated, overrated, duty-free
Mm-hmm.
on the aircraft, and attached to that, people that decide to booze on airplanes.
I mean, there. So there's two things there, isn't there? So duty free is booze is included in that. because if you're buying like spirits and stuff like that,
Yeah.
then I can kind of understand that a little bit.
So
guess.
I think
don't
the
know.
internet has made duty-free void.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
any savings that you used to make, any tax savings you used to make on duty-free back in the day, have now been cancelled out by the internet.
Yeah, because you can get everything for cheaper. innit?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
so-
that's stupid. That's just kind of like
They're
that's,
like-
that's more of a tradition than it is an actual kind of like rational economic decision, isn't it?
Yeah, for some people it's a ritual
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Like for some people they go on a holiday, it's like get something from duty free.
Yeah, yeah.
It's part of the thing.
Yeah,
part of the
I think
experience,
deep
and
down
that can be fine.
I think deep
like-
down now they know they're not actually saving any money.
No.
It's more kind of like you said, the ritual.
I think it is, and it's a bit of a treat. And maybe if you buy an aftershave or whatever, you know, that's a treat. It's a luxury per purchase anyway, isn't it? So you could make an argument for okay, you're just going to buy it because it is cheaper, and it's always cheap. It's
But
not cheaper.
my counterpoint to that is you've also got duty free either side of the flight
Yeah, I know. So why
So-
are you buying it on the flight?
because there's more choice in the airport.
Well, I tell you why. Because
And
you're
you-
bored.
Yeah, it is. You're stuck in a metal can,
Not doing anything.
hurtling through the air, and you've got fuck all to do. So
Yeah.
what's your default? You spend money.
Purchase.
Yeah,
Yeah, and again, it's that dopamine hit you get from I've got a new thing now.
yeah. That I can't
something new.
that I can't use because I'm stuck in a tin can hurtling through the air.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you're better off obviously buying it in duty free. But again, for a lot of people, this is like their one holiday a year, and they're starting to enjoy it, and this is their kind of arc towards that holiday feeling, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
You know, so it can, I can see a kind of argument for it. I wouldn't say it's overrated. I would say it's overrated, but I think for some individuals that's part of their little, you know, their experience. But it's still a waste of money. Give it that.
But then attached to that are people who booze. on
Yeah,
an airplane,
yeah,
and that
that's
makes
terrible.
no fucking sense. That
No, and it comes from the same argument as in, okay, it's part of the experience. It's part, you know, the holiday starts at the airport, so. But objectively, it makes you feel shit in the air.
Yeah, so Chris Williamson was talking about this on his podcast episode that recently came out with Peter Attia, wasn't he? About we've got a weird culture in the UK that has a really kind of strong connection between airport experiences and boozing, which doesn't really transfer to any other nation.
Yeah. So any like major holiday in Britain, like Easter and summer and all that, where people are going away, you will struggle to go into a major British airport and there isn't someone with a pint around everywhere. Like everywhere.
so-
Every spoon's is full, every whatever.
So I imagine a lot of people watching this now will disagree with my opinion that you shouldn't booze in airports on
Oh, yeah.
airplanes because it's so ingrained in British culture.
So entrenched.
But if this went out to an international audience, they'd probably be like, yeah, that's fair.
Makes sense.
It makes sense because, like, you've not actually reached your holiday destination yet. You've actually still got to check into your hotel and kind of not navigate.
There's
your
still a
way
lot of
to-
like shit to do.
There's
I
a lot
feel.
of shit admin that isn't really made any better.
It's made a lot worse.
It's made a lot
Really.
worse because fundamentally you've got no cognitive function.
You've potentially got to rent a car at the other end. I mean, I guess you don't drink at that stage, but I think there is no argument for it. Obviously impairs things, and it obviously drinking. You want to do it. Most people, anyway. You want to start drinking when relaxation starts to ensue.
Yeah.
So when you've got nothing else to do, you know, you go to the bar, for example, like when you're at home. You go to the bar and that's you kind of then relaxing, isn't it? That's it. You don't have to do anything else. You're good. But you're right, in like an airport scenario, when you go into a destination, you've still got to get on the flight. You've still got to get off the flight, get through passport, get your fucking luggage. Remember the right luggage, right? You've still got to get to the hotel, check in. There's still so many stages you get to before you relax, and that is not good when you're fucking pissed.
So it's like, so like drinking is obviously kind of like the short-term win, but I think I'd rather stay sober
For a couple of extra hours.
for a couple of extra hours and then get all of that admin you've just described squared away quicker, and then you can actually enjoy yourself properly.
Yeah, I think the part of it would probably come from making the flight more like I guess not enjoyable, but less kind of stressful or anxiety inducing. Because if you're slightly scared of flying, then I can see it. You get a bit bare.
Right, yeah,
like,
okay. So
whatever.
like if you're basically kind of like sedating yourself, 'cause
Yeah,
you're
that's
scared of
what I
flying.
mean,
I
yeah.
can see that because alcohol's a sedative. Like that makes perfect sense. But the idea that kind of like you're doing it because like the holiday starts.
I don't think
now.
a lot of people know why they're doing it. To be honest, I think that's the honest truth.
This
of it,
comes back
doesn't it?
to the underlying theme of the Brummie Brothers podcast, which is
Don't live life on autopilot.
Yeah, always question social conditioning.
Yeah, exactly. Critical thinking is what we want to take from this.
And again, I'm not against people having a pint in the airport because I mean you're on your fucking holidays, but it's people that kind of have this kind of like almost determination to get leathered before they even get
Yeah,
to
and you see the gopping, the most gopping part of this is like, flights to Ibiza in season.
yeah.
Everyone's plastered and fucked.
Well, it's these videos that kind of like do the rounds on TikTok and stuff where it's like a party or an individual's got so leathered the flights actually had to be grounded.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
it's not safe for them to take off or something. So now not only have you ruined your own holiday, you also
Ruined my
ruined
holiday.
200
Yeah.
other people's holidays.
Which is jack as fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah, and again, just fucking wait until you're at the other end. Because like it is, you're going to fuck some... If you're in that state, mate,
Yeah.
you're going to leave your passport on the plane,
Yeah.
or you're going to forget your luggage or whatever. And then you just fucking... Your holiday's ruined because of
Yeah.
one little
and also,
couple of hours that you pissed.
The vast majority of these people will be on package holidays, which are all inclusive.
Yeah, so when you get there, it's free and you're paying for it now.
So you're paying £9 for a single gin and tonic on a shit tin can hurtling through the air. If you wait 3 hours, you can have bottomless sex on the beach for 2 weeks.
Yeah, the caveat to this as well is if you are flying business or first, because then you've got champagne for free and you may as well...
Yeah, so
fucking-
like to make your money's worth, you almost have to drink it.
You have to drink a lot. to get your
Yeah,
money's worth.
yeah, exactly.
Fucking hell. Yeah, so I think if you're business or first, that's fine. Most people aren't.
And again, most people going on kind of like your stereotypical like package holiday aren't flying first class, are they?
Well, I would hope not. Otherwise, you could just get a better holiday.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I would obviously agree, but I think there are caveats to the duty-free thing where you're looking at obviously the ritual of it, and people just have that association with going on holiday and making that experience a bit more.
So when you in the past when you have done the kind of like airport pint, what have you ordered?
Whatever the fucking just go to.
Have you literally
lager
just
is,
gone in? It's
shit.
a hard one because my go-to normally is like a rum and coke, spiced
Oh,
rum
you
and
can't go
coke.
straight in with that.
That's what I mean. So you have to neck a pint, but I don't enjoy drinking.
I don't think
pints.
I've done it many times.
But
at
again,
all.
this is what I'm talking about, social conditioning. So my go-to is rum and coke. Like, if I was drinking what I wanted to, it would be that. But like
Because you think you have to have a pint.
because I think I have to have a
it's
pint. I've had a
socially,
pint and not enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly. Which
You know
is,
what I mean?
which is
like
the worst of
the
both worlds.
irony of being on holiday.
Yeah, the worst of both worlds. I think a lot of people are flying at 6 a.m. Remember, 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and they're fucking in the airport at like 7, being like, "Yeah, cheers, let's have a pint." And if you look around next time you go on holiday, if you're flying early, you will see that.
Yeah.
And typically we're getting a coffee and having like a workstation going on.
So, like, if you think about, like, I know this is kind of like not relevant to everyone, but if we kind of use our local airport as an example, Birmingham, if you think about like the departure lounge and how much space is allocated to boozing compared to other things, that Weatherspoons at the end takes up about, I don't know, a good 30% of
Yeah.
that departure lounge.
Almost like feeds you into it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
feeds you. It's like a funnel,
yeah.
and like the vast majority of the kind of seating is housed within that Weatherspoon.
And if not, you're sitting on the shit like panel seatings that
yeah,
they're
the
just
fucking
gopping.
the fucking holding pen for the poor.
Yeah, who don't want to spend any money in the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got better now where we were talking about coffee the other episode. Like, coffee's a huge thing now in culture, isn't it? So now
Yeah.
there's like 3 or 4 coffee shops and that's better. But yeah, there is still a massive pull towards or draw towards or bias, I guess, towards.
What
alcohol.
what I can get on board with, I know this is a bit fucking nausy, is bang a fucking strong coffee before the flight. Like, this is only really works if you're actually like travelling for work and or intend to do work abroad. You wouldn't do this on holiday because you wouldn't be travelling with a laptop. bang a strong coffee before your flight. I know, assuming it's not like late at night, and then it kind of forces you into being productive on your flight.
Yeah, so there's always, I will, and again, this is super niche, I will almost always ensure that I've had a YouTube video filmed the week before my flight.
So everyone can relate to this.
Yeah, exactly. To give me something to do. So I edit the video on the flight because obviously you can't do anything that requires
You have to do
our
something
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you have to do something that's kind of like airplane mode friendly, don't you?
Yeah, and this is how fucking stupid. I didn't have one of them for this flight, and it's quite a long, 4-hour flight.
Oh, it's really, that's what we need to talk about, actually.
Yeah, we do.
This is what we need to talk about. This needs airing. So, like, that really awkward middle ground
It's like 3 to 4.5 hours flights, I guess.
That really awkward middle ground flight duration where it's kind of still short haul.
So you don't get any of the niceties like films and shit.
But the longest duration of short haul, so it's not quite long haul, where, as you just said, you kind of get like a screen to watch films, you get like a pillow and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's normally like 3.5 to 4.5 hours, isn't it?
I think 4.5, 5 hours is probably the cut-off, isn't it?
So basically for us, anywhere within Europe.
And luckily Lanzarote is 4 hours 20, so exactly that. Exactly that.
How soul destroying was that flight?
No,
Like?
so long, mate.
So long,
if you don't
mate.
sleep initially straight when you get on the plane, you're just fucked.
But it was a bad time for us really to nap because the flight was 9 a.m. So we'd only been up like 4 hours.
No, I know.
So
Yeah.
like you can get a bit shut eye. But
You're not really going to sleep.
But you've not done anything in the day really to kind of work up a nap.
Any tiredness. Yeah, so I was fucking doing journaling exercise and all sorts of shit. I was
Yeah.
just trying to pass the time.
I just lost my head.
Yeah, Ed just
I
lost
did
his
about.
head.
I downloaded about 10 podcasts before the flight,
Mm.
and I must have listened to about 15 minutes of all of them.
That's
Like,
mad,
I just like, my attention span was fucking zero.
That's horrendous. Yeah, I listened to a good amount of that Peter Attia one that you mentioned before, actually. But I was like scrambling for shit to do.
And then also Spotify fucking absolutely see me off. Obviously, I've got loads of my playlists downloaded. For some reason, I couldn't access them.
been doing that on my laptop.
That's shit, innit?
Fucked, innit?
It's like it would only let me access the ones that I'd kind of listened to within the past day.
That's what, sometimes it does that. It just kicks them all out, and then
Yeah,
you have to
but
re-download
I fucking
them.
downloaded them.
Stupid. Yeah, I need to get Prime for my next flight. If you're flying, this might be a hack. I don't know if it is.
This is
how
this
well
is
known
an
it is.
exclusive.
Is it
from
well
my brother's
known?
Well, I was aware of it, but I don't think it's
Okay.
very widely known.
So if you get Amazon Prime, so there's a thing obviously when you get Netflix and Disney Plus and you're downloading stuff, you can only watch it on your phone or an iPad. If you watch it try and watch it on a laptop, you can't download anything. That isn't true for Amazon Prime. So if you get Amazon Prime on your laptop and then download something, you can actually watch it on your laptop, which is an absolute game changer for this duration of flight we're talking about,
Yeah.
where you don't have a
because
screen.
instead of watching it on like a 3-inch screen, you watch
watch
it
it on
on
a
like
full screen.
a 15-inch screen.
So good. I mean, that's on the way back. I'm 100% doing that.
yeah, well, I'm now going to do that ready for my flight.
Yeah, there you go.
tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's that's something you can do if, in the shit bit between like 3 and 4.5 hours. If you've got one that's sort of that duration, then get yourself Amazon Prime, even if free trial or something, and then start using that.
Yeah, just time it right. So you get the 7-day trial, like
Yeah.
either side of your flight.
I did that with YouTube Premium once.
Yeah.
I got the 14-day free trial and like downloaded loads of YouTube videos and then watched them.
It's a shame we don't know anyone with YouTube Premium, really.
Yeah, it
that
is
could have
mad,
lent
that.
you their account.
Yeah.
Like someone that you spent 6 weeks with and like deliberately hid it from you because they don't want you messing up their algorithm.
Yeah,
That's
that'd have
mad,
been good,
innit?
wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, again, hypothetically, because
Yeah.
it didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Anyway, underrated, overrated. Just done that.
Dehydrated.
Yeah, well, I am. Yeah.
Goggle-eyed girls.
Yeah. So that's it now, I guess, for underrated overrated.
Yeah, I mean, I think basically duty free and boozing on airplanes.
Well, you can't get along with boozing at all.
Oh, yeah, I know that obviously this is, he's being biased because he doesn't drink. Yeah, obviously. It's a podcast about our opinions. Fucking
Yeah.
get used to it.
Get used to it 'cause Eddie's sober now.
If you don't like our opinions, don't listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm largely sober, I would say.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
like
you've
sober curious.
Are you going to come out as bi on this, or we can say that for another episode?
I'll give you its own episode, I reckon.
Right, okay. Yeah, so,
A lot of people think that's serious.
yeah, I don't know. Again, kind of
Could be.
sarcasm straight over the red. Yeah. So you've got a much better relationship with alcohol at
Yeah.
the minute, so you just do special occasions. I'll get into that eventually, but I'm just doing this as a challenge for myself.
Yeah, it's
effectively.
good
'Cause
way to do it.
I'm 100% in agreement that it's better to have your attitude to boozing than mine, because I obviously...
It's a bit extreme.
Mine's extreme shock. I've just gone to the...
Gone full retard.
I've gone
straight
full
away.
retard again,
Yeah.
unlike me. So eventually I will transition into that, I'll probably end up drinking on my birthday in June or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good. It's good to have little sober stints, and we talked about that before as well. Like, if you've got something like a project in the works, something that you're gonna work towards, and then reward yourself with a good night out afterwards, then fine. I think just drinking again, it comes back to social conditions. Just drinking because it's the thing to do on the weekend is stupid. Okay, so finally we have reasons to be cheerful.
Reasons to be cheerful.
Which this week is all around like trialing gyms when you're abroad or when you're in a new place. And Ed did a post about this this week, didn't you? Training on holiday.
So I capitalised on the fact that I was on a beach, and I thought I'd do a reel about it because it's something that I've always not really understood, the stigma around not training on holiday. So I kind of gathered that a lot of the people that listen to this podcast will have similar values to us in that they enjoy training. Yeah. But there's always been a weird stigma in British culture around basically, you know, as we've touched on before, doing anything other than fucking just lying there like Jabba the Hutt.
It's almost like you're wasting your time, your holiday time, isn't it? Like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah,
if it's something you enjoy, then fine. And I think if related to that, like getting to a fresh gym environment that obviously is going to be a bit new, there's going to be new kit there, new people, new environment, new music, whatever, new location. That's going to motivate you a little bit, and it's an interesting thing. It's almost like, you know, if you are like a history nose or whatever, and you find it cool to go to a museum, then great. I mean, go and do that on your holiday. And people will accept that. That's fine. Like cultural and all the rest of it. Part of a place's culture for me is the gym, because I mean it's something that the locals will go and do and go and use, and so you are effectively just exploring that, but it's just in a different way, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's a great, if you enjoy going to the gym, going to local gyms abroad when you're on holiday is a great way to explore that culture. Yeah. It's like a vessel for that culture, isn't it?
100%. But I think people don't see it like that. People just see a gym as a gym, and you know, if you go into the one here, which is on the beach in Hoofing, same as going to the JD in Bride Hill, it's not.
But I think that's actually a much better use of your time, because obviously, as we just said, it's a way to kind of meet local people and kind of get an idea for, you know, the values of that particular place. But people that go abroad just to kind of like sit on a sun lounger and then go to the restaurant down the road that serves full English all day,
not really absorbing much culture.
You're not really gone out your comfort zone there, have you? Because you're doing everything that you would do in Tyneside, but in the sun.
Yeah, basically. And look, think about like our Austin experience. I know it's different because we were there for a longer period of time, but literally 95% of the people we met came from the gym we went to, and the gym was Hoofing, and like probably 2 or 3 hours of our fucking day, most days, were spent at that gym. But loads of the recommendations we got to go places, therefore other things we saw, loads of the connections we made and all the rest of it with people in the gym. So if we hadn't have done that because we were on holiday, then we'd have not experienced much of it.
Exactly. And just not to make this kind of too biased and gym centric, you know, if your thing is being a piss can, you know, go out drinking on holiday, but go to the bars and the clubs that the locals go to, not where all the tourists go.
Make it interesting.
Make it interesting. See new things. Widen your horizons. Because you'll either hate it, right, in which case...
And it'll be a good story.
It'll be a good story, and then you'll then appreciate your local back home more. Or you'll meet interesting people with cool stories, and it'll be a worthwhile experience.
Yeah, exactly. And the same goes for gyms. Some gyms are shit.
Yeah,
abroad, which makes like it's just funny and it's like interesting to try and train there.
So
some gyms are hoofing.
So we went to that commercial gym in Munich, didn't we? Munchen, which was like a kind of like, it was like a riff on a David Lloyd's, I guess, is the English comparison. And it was fucking shit. It made me grateful for JD Gym.
Yeah,
so I was like, if this was my local commercial gym, I'd be in shit nick.
I'd be sack.
Because everyone in there was an NPC, and they had like a training intensity of about 3.
Yeah, I know. It was wild. But equally, you go to this one here, and well, there's no one there fundamentally, but like the gym's right on the beach, and they've got all new kit, and it's like, you know,
it's like something from a dream, isn't it? It's like, right, so you open, so it's like a kind of Gucci CrossFit box with all the kind of equipment you could wish for, and then you open the French doors, and then like you're on the beach.
It's mental.
It's like the stuff of dreams.
Yeah, you think it's crazy. But the big thing I always try and do in a new gym abroad, because again, you'll say if you go to, let's just use JD Gym as an example. You go to JD Gym, then you probably go there 5 days a week and that's all you do. And there's a certain amount of equipment that you get and you've got an equipment restriction effectively. If you go to a new gym and there's like heavy sandbags or maybe there's like a new machine or whatever it is that you haven't used before, I quite like to throw those into my workout in some way, shape or form, because it's a new, from like a training stimulus point of view, it like provides a little bit of novelty. And typically if you're getting novelty in your training in some way, if there's still structure involved, then you're probably going to be more bought into the session and therefore train a bit harder. So I think that's a huge point. Like if you're like sandbags is always one that's a good example, because sandbags aren't in any, heavy sandbags aren't really in any gyms.
It's good because the last time I used a heavy sandbag, I did my back in.
Yeah, that's
good.
Great advice. Yeah, yeah. Proceed with caution. But yeah, if you're someone who again trains in like a normal commercial gym and you go abroad and there's like, you know, a sandbag or a different assault bike or whatever, then use those because it's probably going to be a bit novel and create a bit of a different stimulus.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, that is the point of a holiday, is it not? To add, you know, to break up your usual routine and provide some variety.
Yeah, so if you just go into the gym and do the same workout as you do at home, it's a bit wasted, isn't it?
Stupid, really.
Yeah. So I made a point of lifting outside yesterday.
It's different. Like, it's slightly more effort because you have to carry the equipment outside, but that is something that is literally kind of geographically restricted to where you are now.
100%.
Can't do that
impossible.
Can't do that in JD car park,
I can lift staring at the wall on mats anyway. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I can't lift staring at the sea in many places, so I'll take advantage. Yeah, but that's about it, I think, isn't it? Is it? Anything else to add?
That wraps it up. I think we've done our half-an-hour segment.
There we go.
We're not getting paid for anything over this now, so we're not getting paid at all.
Anything?
Fundamentally,
That's good.
We're just doing this because we love gobbing off.
Yeah, out of the kindness of our hearts.
To provide you with value and opinions.
Yeah, and our own unsolicited advice. But yeah, again, give us some feedback in terms of what you think about alcohol in airports and what you think about our new audio setup, because we're happy with it.
Yes, definitely. And just to pre-warn all the eager beavers, there may be a period, there may be a few weeks down the line, so the week after this goes out, where you don't get an episode because you're still
here.
Fear
still, not.
Yes.
Because the week after that, we're going to pay you back with 2 episodes.
Yeah, so obviously we're not going to let our kind of 1 episode a week since we started slip. We're not going to upload that week, but you'll get a double bill the second following week, basically.
Exactly. So if you've listened to this one, you shouldn't have any quizzes. But if you do, just message one of us and we'll put you right. But yeah, that concludes, doesn't it, today?
Yes.
Happy days. All right, well, cool. Again, feed us back what you think about the new setup and what we spoke about. And we'll see you in the next one, not next week, but one of the 2 episodes that drop in the week after.